Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to One More Line. Today we're going to be starting with the Cisco Netacad course Network Security, or CCNA Security. I'm going to be using the instructor PowerPoint for this course. Pretty much for all the chapters, maybe in some of them where they're more command heavy and talk about configuration of devices, we'll crack open the actual text for those. They do follow pretty closely along to the actual text, so if you like and you're taking this Netacad course, feel free to follow along as we go through it. All right, let's get started here. Module 1, Securing Networks. There we go. All right, so in Module 1, we're going to learn about the current state of affairs, describe the current network security landscape, and network topology overview, describe how all types of networks need to be protected. Now, I want to mention too, before we even get into this here, even though this is the most current version of this course, as I literally took it this year at school, it's pretty dated. I think this came out in 2020, which in technology is like a lifetime. So some of this stuff, you'll see, not necessarily in this module, but it can be a little dated. Networks are targets. Networks are routinely under attack. A quick internet search for network attacks will return many articles about them. Kaspersky maintains an interactive cyber threat real-time map display of current network attacks. The attack data is submitted from Kaspersky network security products that are deployed worldwide. Down here, hold on, got it pulled up for us so we can take a look at it. It can actually still go to this website. It's actually pretty cool. Very stylized, but I mean, it's definitely cool to look at and mess around with. Let's see, let's look at the United States. Oh, it's not that easy to control, to be honest. But yeah, if you want to check this out, you can just go to the website, cybermap.kaspersky.com. It also has statistics, and it also talks about, yeah, this is a little bit more in-depth. You can see worldwide statistics. Then you can also click here and see historical data. They provide the data sources. And they have a few other things you can check out. So yeah, if you want to go check that out, it is still up. It's cybermap.kaspersky.com. All right, let's get back to the PowerPoint here. Reason for network security. Network security breaches can disrupt e-commerce. Network security breaches can disrupt e-commerce, cause the loss of business data, threaten people's privacy, and compromise the integrity of information. The Cisco Talos Intelligence Group website provides comprehensive security and threat intelligence. Cisco Product Security Incident Report Team, or PSIRT, is responsible for investigating and mitigating potential vulnerabilities in Cisco products. Vectors of network attacks. An attack vector is a path by which a threat actor can gain access to a server, host, or network. Attack vectors originate from inside or outside the corporate network. Threat actors may target a network through the internet to disrupt network operations and create a denial of service attack. So I feel like a lot of times people just picture network attacks as coming from outside, when I feel like often, a lot of times, network attacks originate from inside the network. Data loss. Email, social networking. The most common vector for data loss includes instant messaging software and social media sites. For instance, intercepted email or IMs can be captured and confidential information revealed. That, as well as like phishing, right? I feel like I read recently, I can't remember where, that like a majority of major hacks, right, that happen, and major data breaches that happen all start with spear phishing attacks. or at least like the majority. It was like in like the 90%, like the majority, start with spear phishing attacks. Unencrypted devices. A stolen corporate laptop typically contains confidential organizational data. If the data is not stored using an encryption algorithm, the thief can retrieve valuable confidential data. Cloud storage devices. Saving data to the cloud has many potential benefits. However, sensitive data can be lost if access to the cloud is compromised due to weak security settings. Removable media. One risk is that an employee could perform an unauthorized transfer of data to a USB drive. Another risk is that a USB drive containing valuable corporate data could be lost. Hard copy. Sensitive data should be disposed of thoroughly. For example, confidential data should be shredded when no longer required. Otherwise, a thief could retrieve discarded reports and gain valuable information. Improper access control. Passwords are the first line of defense. Stolen passwords or weak passwords which have been compromised can provide an attacker easy access to data. I personally don't trust storing my passwords like in the cloud or anything like that. I have my own little system that I use. I'm not going to reveal it here, but it involves, I'll say what it involves. It involves keeping my passwords completely offline, and I use a phrase system instead of just a password. You should always use very strong passwords too. There's no reason not to overkill it. Instead of using a password with hard to remember words or just random characters, use a phrase. Come up with a long phrase and use variations where you replace the letters with like numbers and symbols. I think like after, I don't know now with like more recent GPUs and stuff, but I feel like last time I looked, after like 12 characters, it starts becoming pretty difficult to brute force a password. And anything less than 8 is like, you know, a few minutes. But once you start getting up past 10, it takes a lot longer. And I think past 12, we're talking like a year, even maybe sometimes. I guess it depends on how dedicated they are too, right? You know, if they have like dedicated password cracking rig with like a ton of GPUs and stuff, I'd probably be a lot easier to brute force. But anyways, use strong passwords and none of that'll matter. People don't want to use them because it's hard to remember, but the time it saves is like, you know, I mean, so what? It takes you a little bit longer to remember, you know, a couple extra characters. If you use a phrase instead, it's way easier to remember, and you don't have to worry about it, right? If you have a 30-character password phrase, no one's brute forcing that. Okay, so here we have a video, anatomy of an attack. It's pretty quick. It's also, you know, pretty interesting. One of the more interesting videos I've seen in a Cisco course. So let's get it started here. It doesn't play because it's in a PowerPoint, but I have it set up to play for us. Let's go.
The race is on to get a fully self-driving car to market.
Autonomous car company Opticon promises a
cars that drive themselves. Opticon's new cars.
Joining conference now.
Destroyed data and deleted the backups. We can recover most of it, but some of the research may be gone for good. According to the forensics, they may have had access to the blueprints.
The FBI arrested a San Francisco man in connection with last month's Opticon.
Hey Brian, can I get you anything? Coffee or soda or something before we start? So, walk me through it, step by step.
Well, I took over the website to a bowling alley.
Brian, this is not a joke.
Okay, look. They have this research facility down the peninsula, and they're working on optical tracking cameras for driverless cars. So, just searching through social media, I get the names of a whole bunch of engineers who are working there. And as I'm looking them up, I come across this bowling league where a bunch of tech companies play every Wednesday. And this is an old school bowling alley with this really ancient website. And it has all the league info, company names, player names.
Okay, so you hacked into a bowling alley website.
Yeah.
All right, explain how that works.
It's called an iframe injection attack. It's this old exploit that hits anyone that visits the website. So a week later, this guy from Opticon suddenly has my malware on his laptop. I couldn't believe it worked. It was like a joke.
What does that get you?
Well, the next day he goes to work and he opens his laptop and he connects to the network. And that's it. I'm in.
Yeah, but that still doesn't get you inside. I mean, they discovered it. They wiped the laptop, scanned the network.
They didn't scan the whole network. The thermostat's part of the network. It's inside the firewall. It's connected to Opticon's entire network. You can get the whole standard configuration and password online in 30 seconds. I got it off the manufacturer's website. So they scanned most of the network. They didn't scan the thermostat.
Then what?
Then I just went exploring. It was a totally flat network, no subnets or anything. I could see everything, HR files, legal documents, R&D. When I found the blueprints, I realized I could make some money off these files.
What happened after you sent the files?
Oh, then I burned everything down. I wiped everything I could find, encrypted drives and deleted backups.
Is the network down? I can't get on the server.
With the database. The servers look corrupt. We're going to have to do a full restore from the backups.
No, the backups are encrypted.
This is deliberate.
This is a major breach.
Malware.
We gotta call the FBI.
I was just scared. I was trying to cover my tracks.
And somebody paid you how much exactly?
75 bitcoins.
Nice. Not enough to retire on, but still. All right, Brian Page. Are you sure you don't know who paid you?
European automaker Q-Car has beaten Opticon to market with their QX sedan, the world's first self-driving car. Opticon shares tumbled 11% on the news.
Okay. So, yeah. I mean, I feel like that's a pretty realistic possibility for an attack. Not very far-fetched at all. I honestly feel like it's less realistic that he got caught. Somebody with the skilled enough to do that, or honestly, it didn't seem like that type of attack really required that much skill, but somebody who would be clever enough to do that. I really don't feel like they would get that paranoid and freak out. Also, 75 bitcoins is like for sure enough to retire on, but this was also made in 2020, so. Network topology overviews. So here we're talking about campus area network. They're using a VPN. The Cisco ISR is secured. It protects data in motion that is flowing from the CAN, or campus area network, to the outside world by establishing a VPN. VPNs ensure data confidentiality and integrity from authenticated sources, and VPN, of course, stands for Virtual Private Network. Also, by the way, when you see these little exclamation points up here, that means, oh, you can't see that because of my head. Let's see here. When you see that little exclamation point, if my head is not blocking it, I don't know if it's always up in the right corner. I guess I'll just notify you because I don't really know where else to put this. All right, I can move it down here maybe. We'll put it down at the bottom. So when you see this little exclamation point up here, that means that you should know this stuff. Important to know, okay? And these are important to know. What these devices are and what they do and how they work are pretty much all very important to know. ASA, Cisco Adaptive Security Appliance Firewall, performs stateful packet filtering to filter return traffic from the outside network into the campus network. IPS. A Cisco Intrusion Prevention System, or an IPS device, continuously monitors incoming and outgoing network traffic for malicious activity. It logs information about the activity and attempts to block and report it. Layer 3 switches. These distribution layer switches are secured and provide secure redundant trunk connections to Layer 2 switches. Several different security features can be implemented, such as ACLs, DHCP snooping, dynamic ARP inspection, and IP source guard. Layer 2 switches. These access layer switches are secured and connect user-facing ports to the network. Several different security features can be implemented, such as port security, DHCP snooping, and 802.1x user authentication. ESA WSA. A Cisco email security appliance and web security appliance provide advanced threat defense, application visibility and control, reporting, and secure mobility to secure and control email and web traffic. AAA servers. An authentication, authorization, and accounting server authenticates users, authorizes what they are allowed to do, and tracks what they're doing. Hosts. Endpoints are secured using various features including antivirus and anti-malware software, host intrusion protection system features, and 802.1x authentication features. Small office and home office networks. The figure displays a sample SOHO secured with a consumer-grade wireless router, which provides integrated firewall features and secured wireless connection. This layer 2 switch is an access layer switch that is hardened with various security measures. It connects user-facing ports that use port security to the SOHO network. Wireless hosts connect to the wireless network using WPA2 encryption technology. Hosts typically have antivirus and anti-malware software installed. Combined, these security measures provide comprehensive defense at different layers of the network. Wide area networks. Wide area networks, or WANs, span a wide geographical area, often over the public internet. Organizations must ensure secure transport for the data in the motion as it travels between sites over the public network. Network security professionals must use secure devices on the edge of the network. In the figure, the main site is protected by an adaptive security appliance which provides stateful packet filtering features and establishes secure virtual private network tunnels to various destinations. All right, and we can see it's right there, the Cisco ASA firewall. And this is again something that's important to note. The highlighted part right here. Read it again. In the figure, the main site right here is protected by the ASA, which provides stateful firewall features and establishes secure VPN tunnels to various destinations. And those are shown by these pipes that I guess they're supposed to represent the VPN tunnels. Yeah. Data center networks. Data center networks are typically housed in an off-site facility to store sensitive or proprietary data. These sites are connected to corporate sites using VPN technology with ASA devices and integrated data center switches. Because they store such vast quantities of sensitive business-critical information, physical security is critical to their operation. Physical security not only protects access to the facility, but also protects people and equipment. For example, fire alarm sprinklers, seismically braced server racks, redundant heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, and UPS systems are in place to protect people, equipment, and data. Data center physical security can be divided into two ways: outside perimeter security, inside perimeter security. So outside can include on-premise security guards, fences, gates, video surveillance, and breach alarms. Inside is going to provide continuous video surveillance, electronic motion detectors, security tapes, and biometric access and exit sensors. Cloud networks and virtualization. The term cloud computing and virtualization is often used interchangeably. However, they mean different things. Virtualization is the foundation of cloud computing. Without it, cloud computing as it is most widely implemented would not be possible. Cloud computing separates the application from the hardware. Virtualization separates the operating system from the hardware. The cloud network consists of physical and virtual servers usually found in data centers. Data centers are increasingly using virtual machines to provide servers to their clients. This allows for multiple operating systems to exist on a single hardware platform. VMs are prone to specific targeted attacks. So one of those is hyperjacking, where an attacker could hijack a VM and then use it as a launch point to attack other devices in the data center network, which is like, not easy. Instant on activation. When a VM has not been used for a period of time is brought online, it may have outdated security policies that deviate from the baseline security and can introduce security vulnerabilities. Antivirus storms. This happens when all VMs attempt to download antivirus data files at the same time. The evolving network border. Smartphones, tablets, etc. are becoming substitutes for the office PC that is behind a firewall. This trend is known as BYOD, or bring your own device. To accommodate this, Cisco developed the borderless network. In a borderless network, access to resources can be initiated by users from many locations, on many types of end devices using various connectivity methods. Cisco devices support mobile device management features. Data encryption, or MDM features, can ensure that only devices that support data encryption and have it enabled can access the network and content. PIN enforcement. Enforcing a PIN lock is the first and most effective step in preventing unauthorized access to a device. Data wipe. Lost or stolen devices can be remotely, fully, partially wiped either by the user or by an admin or the MDM. Data loss prevention. DLP prevents authorized users from doing careless or malicious things with critical data. Jailbreak root detection. Jailbreaking and rooting are a means to bypass the management of a device. MDM features can detect such bypasses and immediately restrict a device's access to the network or assets. Then 1.3, securing networks summary. So that was basically it. This is a summary of what we went over in this first module. Network security breaches can disrupt e-commerce, cause the loss of business data, threaten people's privacy, and compromise the integrity of information. Many tools are available to help. Various DLP controls must be implemented that combine strategic, operational, and tactical measures. Elements of the defense in-depth design include VPN, ASA, firewalls, IPS, Layer 3 switches, Layer 2 switches, ESA, WSA, AAA servers, and hosts. Okay? Network security professionals must use secure devices on the edge of a network. Data center physical security is divided into two areas. VMs are also prone to specific targeted attacks, including hyperjacking, instant on activation, and antivirus storms. That is important too. Well, I did say hyperjacking is like hard to do, right? Just because they're complicated attacks doesn't mean it doesn't happen. I feel like a lot of times people think that like their VMs are impenetrable, right? Just because they're using a VM, they're completely safe. And that's not true. You can break out of a VM. It's totally possible, and it happens all the time. Just because it's complicated doesn't mean it doesn't happen. In a borderless network, access resources can be initiated by users from many locations on many types of endpoint devices using various connectivity methods. So, BYOD, bring your own device. I feel like a lot of companies have that unlocked though too, right? These days, you're either allowed to access your work stuff without a VPN or you're not, one or the other. So that's what we learned in this module. This really was just like, a basic introduction to what we're going to be going over in this course, and what's going to be getting learned or taught. New terms and commands. I'm not going to read all these out loud because I'll sound like a robot. But if you want to pause it and look at these, you can review all these terms and commands. There was no commands in this course, of course. Or in this course, there's plenty of commands. There was no commands talked about in this module. And then continued. And that's it for module 1. Thank you for watching. And hope you enjoy the rest of your day, morning, night, or whatever it is for you. See you on the next one.